Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear Neuroguard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out Neuroguard Plus.
Neuroguard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
Neuroguard. I control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I ride. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
You know, I'm still doing stunts. You know, and with concussions I've got, you know, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So Neuroguard Plus, you know, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, Neuroguard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, Neuroguard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody, now's the time. Brown right, motion, tailback slant. Let's put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner, all right? On one, ready? Go, 13! Coming up, go, 13!
It is week 7, and it's time to talk a little. There we go. We're back. Man, 1 week with you not in the studio and everything is just all messed up.
Right. Glad to be back, fix things.
That's the value of Grant Goodwin here.
Right.
By the way, that is Grant Goodwin. I'm Terry Bennett. This is Class 2A Week 7.
You got to admit, my production value is pretty top notch.
You are the best editor on, in the company. I mean, you never do it, but you're still the best one.
I would be if I did it.
You would be if you did it. So how you doing, man? We had a great weekend.
Well, yeah.
We got to see,
except for a loss.
Oh yeah. I mean, you are. Okay, that's it. You're the Archie Manning of the program, man. You want to talk about I don't feel sorry for a multi-million-dollar kid who grew up privileged and all, but just the world, and it's not anything new. This is always how it's been. We always build them up to tear them down.
Yeah.
The tearing down of Archie Manning in a game where, honestly, yeah, he struggled, but he was maybe third or fourth biggest problem. And there was money. We talked about it on our college show, which you can see. It's the same Patreon. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back up. It's the same Patreon as this. If you go to patreon.com/L4 Media Company, Grant is with me and intern Noe, the pro, as we do a college show. It'll be up tomorrow. The pro show, that's me and Noe. It's already up on our Patreon. Those are free right now. So please go check them out. And do please think about signing up for our Patreon. It's like $3 a month. But yeah, I went back and rewatched that game this morning, and in that second half, he was starting to make throws when the offensive line gave him time. Offensive line's the biggest issue. Defensive line was a bigger issue. And I hate to say this, but you called it, and Noah at the time thought you were just drunk mad, but Texas gave up on time on certain things. Like there was no effort on some of those plays.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was our college football talk for the day.
All right.
So
see you next week.
Yep. See you next week, buddy.
Week 7. No, week 8. Week 8 next week?
Yeah, week 8. Thanks for
Now,
driving
let's
all the
talk
way
2A
across
football
it.
right now.
I don't really want to. As you always say.
Well, I love 2A football.
All right, well, let's pull up this sheet. It's 2A football, so
It's 1A above 6-man.
Okay, I will say 2A. I like it. Dadgummit, you got me on that one. I didn't realize what you were saying right there. I thought you were literally saying it's one step above. And I was going to say, okay, dude.
No.
I know you have
1A
problems.
above.
I know you have problems with 6-man, but 2A is actually
2A is starting to become one of my favorite classifications. I every 2A game we've been to so far has just been great. And the atmosphere, it's pretty good. Still small town. Everybody cares.
Yes. And honestly, and this is no disregard to those teams. One of them played in a state championship. But, you and I love dynasties to an extent. But when Martin, Shiner are just rolling through everybody for a few years, it gets a little tedious. And that's on all levels.
Yeah.
We've said it this year, man. The only level that it's kind of frustrating, and this is a compliment to the program, is 4A Division II, because it still feels like it's Carthage and everybody else.
Yeah.
In 2A, as good as Munster and Shiner are, for example, it still wouldn't shock me if neither one of them make it to Arlington for Class 2A Division II.
Yeah.
And in Class 2A Division I, it is definitely, in my opinion, wide open.
Oh, yeah.
And let's go ahead and get into last week. Honeygrove. Look, we wanted to talk this game.
Your run sheet on this one.
Jesus, I gotta do
for
everything for you. Hang on.
Not for the viewing public, but the run sheet that I painstakingly built.
Yes, it's weird. It's nothing but Kathy Ireland. No, nothing wrong with that. I like Kathy Ireland. Kathy Ireland.
Oh yeah,
remember her? She was one of the.
I remember her.
She was the kicker in Unnecessary Roughness. What are you talking about, sir? Anyway, look, we wanted to talk this game not only for Honeygrove, but we wanted to give the Eagles of Como-Picton a little bit of love. A program that had went 4 straight years, 1-9. This was probably the only chance they'd get talked about on state, but Honeygrove proved to be what they are, winning on homecoming 53-19. Raylan Morris, 78 yards on just 6 carries.
That was a short night for him, right?
Everybody took the night off. Mason Banker. And I don't think we talk enough about Mason Banker, because we talk about Raylan Morris offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
But we talked about this last year. Mason Banker is one of the best linebackers, not only in 2A, but in all the 3 of the classes that we cover.
Yeah.
He had, once again, 11 solo tackles, 3 tackles for losses. And the Warriors,
I think he had like 21 total tackles, assists, and solo.
And
Isn't that crazy?
And he did the same thing in that Hugo, Oklahoma game too, I think. I think he had like 20 tackles on the game, like verified tackles. And again, every program does theirs different, but if you're consistent to whatever your coach does as a tackle, well, then that's still a tackle.
Yeah.
Going more east into East Texas, Wascom destroys Harleton 28-0. Just kind of a reminder, because we're going to be talking about Wascom here in a minute. Bremont 5-0 now as they destroy Wortham 61-0.
Yeah.
Which, if you tag that with Chilton beating Mart 34-0, as Chilton forced 3 turnovers. Mart had 4 trips into the red zone, didn't score on any of them. Xavier Taylor runs for 175 yards, 4 touchdowns on 21 carries. Man, Chilton, Bremont's amazing, and Mart has struggled, but have been a really solid team. But Chilton on the year has outscored opponents 163-12.
Yeah. Get that. That's impressive offensively, but 12 points so far this year. Dude, that defense right there is going to win them a lot of games. And a defense like that comes in handy late November into December in those cold playoff games.
Oh, exactly. And, when you look at who the Pirates have played this year, it's not like they've been playing, Sister Mary of the Poor. Now, we will know more about them in the next 2 weeks, because they're going to have a very surprising 5-0 Frost. Now, you can make the case they have played the weaker teams in the district than they have, but even going into district, they were 3-0. But, we'll know what Chilton's really like this week, which I think they'll take care of Frost. And then,
I'm starting to think we know what Chilton is, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they have anything to prove to me right now. It's just, can they stay healthy, and can they just stay focused every week? If they can do that, the sky's the limit. We're talking, could be Arlington,
No, I don't disagree with you at all. And the crazy thing is, this is a program that, for 3 years kept knocking on that door, 11-2, 12-1, 13-2. And then last year, for the first time, had been completely young and plummet to 3-7, but you return 20 starters from that team.
Right.
And the crazy thing is a lot of these guys are sophomores and juniors.
Yeah.
So they're not they're back into that 3-year cycle of being really, really good. And man, if they can get through the next 2 weeks with, even if you split with Frost and Bremond, but you stay healthy, you've got Wortham and Meridian.
That Chilton Bremond game's in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we might have to think about going to
that
one.
might be a 2A game we have to go to. Here's one we could have gone to and should have maybe. Ganado 33, Kennedy 27. Logan Burris runs for 140 yards. Ganado's defense came up big with 3 interceptions, though they did struggle at times. It was very feast or famine for this defense.
Yeah.
They gave up a lot of yards to Jericho Jackson, the quarterback for Kennedy. He threw for 285 yards, had a couple touchdowns, but more importantly for Ganado, they made the plays when they needed to.
Yeah, Ganado just so physical. How about Winthorst 76, Monday 6, man? Winthorst quarterback Brock Belcher throws for 321 yards, runs for 61. Defensively, Brock Belcher and Ruben Wilden came up with an interception apiece. Winthorst is now 4-2. Their only losses are to a really good City View team, 27-20, up in 3A, and then Munster 53-13, which is arguably the best, if not one of the top 2 or 3 teams in Class 2A.
Yeah, and other than that, now their defense struggled early, but it seems like it's righted the ship lately. Now, again, that could be also who they've played.
Yeah, Monday's a little down.
Yeah, Monday's a little down on the year. They're 3-3. But still, it's a reminder that Winthorst and Coach Carney from Munster kept saying he felt like this year's Winthorst team reminded him of 2 years ago with his team, because this is a lot of sophomores and juniors that are growing up together. And
that sophomore year is so pivotal in a program.
Yeah, we were talking about that, when we were at the game.
You can really tell what they're going to be as sophomores.
Yeah, and that's when you also get your biggest growth a lot of times from 9th grade to 11th grade. And they have a great sophomore in Aiden Stark, prime example. This is a guy that's going to lead them for the next 3 years. And Winthorst, it's just a reminder that Winthorst, you can't look at the record sometimes with who they lost to. They're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Burton 28, Bartlett 0. Ruben Rodriguez runs for 104 yards on 9 carries. Caden Patterson runs for 101 yards on 15. I think if I read that correctly, they had like 300 yards of rushing. I love when you see a football team have 300 yards.
Yeah, I do. And you're starting to see that more and more, man. There's some up in 3A and 4A this week where they're going to talk about that they had a bunch of rushing like that. But Burton's a quiet 5-0, right?
I was just about to say, this is a team that nobody's talking about. They've been nowhere near the rankings. Now, to be fair, outside of a Holland team, which is down, their schedule is, could be crazy. But they have this weird, I almost have to ask, and if you're a Burton fan, please email us. So they beat Holland 36-13. They beat Hearn 27-15. They had the cancel game with McDade 2-0, and then they shut out Bartlett. And then 3 weeks ago, they beat Schulenburg 68-66. Just a weird offensive shootout right in the middle of a team that's been really, really good. Yeah, I think people are kind of sleeping on the Panthers.
Yeah.
All right. It's 2A, so we don't really take a lot of time and do a lot of commercials. It's time to talk 2A. Hang on. Let me go back over here and pull this up. Boom. And boom for you and I. All right, let's get into it. We got the biggest game of the week, and this is going to be a fun one. I do want to take the time.
The Kraut Bowl, right?
Yep, and I want to take the time to remind everybody that each and every week I talk to the head coach of Munster, Coach Brady Carney, and this is definitely, of course, obviously one of his favorite weeks. This is – I keep saying this over and over, but I truly mean this. This is a district with Collinsville, which, of course, Carney played at, Lindsay, which is all cousins with Munster. This is one of those districts that have multiple what you would call hardcore rivalries, but they're the friendliest rivals. Yeah. Like Carney talked about,
they'll go eat at the Dairy Queen afterwards.
Yeah,
right?
And after the game, he goes, "Oh yeah, usually Lindsay and Munster cousins. Cousins have already brought their night clothes over. They're just going to go stay the night with their with their cousin after the game."
That's kind of awesome, dude.
Yeah, I love it. It proves you can have great rivalries and not always blood rivalries. But this is going to be Lindsay's best chance to beat Munster in a long, long time.
They were real confident last year, just could not throw the ball, right? And that cost them against Munster at home. Now they got to travel to True Munster. But what they do have now is they've got a a passing game that can go along with that hellacious ground game.
Yeah, I mean,
and that gives them a chance in any game they play.
And no, they're not going to throw for 400 yards a game. They're not even going to do what
they
Munster
keep you
does.
honest. Though.
Yeah, exactly. Lane Foster, that's exactly what he does. They keep him on her. I love how you talk about how them having to go to Munster, so they have to go 3 miles to the right, and they're sitting in Munster.
Sometimes passing game doesn't travel more than a mile, though, right?
That's a good point.
So you know, I feel as if Lindsay's passing game can go the 3 miles down the road.
Grant Wittest of the week. We know everything about Munster. They average almost 400 yards a game. Case and Carney's already thrown
rushing 400 rushing.
Yeah, Case and Carney's already thrown for 985 yards. He's rushed for 660, and he can rush for a lot more. But you know, you don't want him to be playing a ton, so they pull him out of a lot of games. You got Nolan Peel and Dustin Croft. You've got Garrett Hess at tight end and defensive end. You know, Lane Foster and this is the best Lindsay team in a long time. But this is still the Munster state champion defending team. I just don't.
I think it's closer than it was last year.
Oh, yeah.
I expect a slugfest.
Oh, yeah. Last time they beat Munster was 2020. I think it's going to be closer. I still think at the end of the day, Munster's defense is going to be just too much for Lindsay. But in saying that, I still think Lindsay puts up some points. But I think this feels like a 30 to 35 to 20 type of game.
Yeah. Outside of Lindsay Munster, the Kraut Bowl, here's one of the better games in Class 2A this week. 4-2 Grapeland taking on undefeated 5-0 Mount Enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Mount Enterprise all year long. We talked about them in the Big R's preview show.
Keegan Ash, man.
Yeah, and we said this was a team that, you know, they were 9-4 last year, and we thought they were going to be better this year. Scott Ponder leading a team that, again, went 9-4, region semifinalists, returned 20 starters from that. And you know, Keegan Ash at running back is one thing, but Keegan Ash's defensive ability is also amazing. Yeah. Josh Bennett at quarterback. I mean, this is a well-rounded team. Grapeland on the year, they're 4-2, 2-0 in district. Their only losses, though, are to Bremont and by 9 and to Frankston in a game that got away from them. But Bremont and Frankston,
two top 5 teams.
Yeah, 2 top 5 teams.
At least top 10.
Exactly. And then 2 weeks ago, they had a bye this week, or last week. 2 weeks ago, they beat a really good Overton team, 37-27. Man, this is going to be one of those games that I think is going to be close, but I think Mount Enterprise pulls away in the end.
Yeah, I think they could. I really do. I think that's how good Mount Enterprise is. I just, you know, I think it's just with Ash just running the ball down your throat can be a little bit demoralizing defensively.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
We don't.
And Grapeland has to go to Mount Enterprise, which means bus is going to get pulled over by the police, get a ticket.
Mount Enterprise.
But I love to get tickets. And Mount Enterprise. No, it's not my new. Huntington's always going to be my Huntington.
Mount Enterprise has always been like that.
That's why I'm saying.
I used to have to drive through there for work for a hot minute. And man,
don't speed through there, Grapeland.
Yeah, the one stop
like 1 mile an hour over. You got to be careful. Ganado versus Weimar. Ganado's Logan Burris. We know all about Ganado. Austin Pena. You know, but. Look, Weimar's 4-1. The only loss was to that San Antonio Holy Cross 38-16, which is the private school that's pretty decent program down there. That being said, I think Ganado's too physical for Weimar.
Give me the Wildcats in the home upset.
What?
Yep.
That would be a huge upset.
Wade Griffin has got that program turned around. I had them as a dark horse to begin the year. I had them making the region finals. Remember, in fact, I think at that time I said I think Ganado wins. No, actually, I think I said then Weimar will win in district, and then Ganado will get them in the playoffs when they meet again. Jaron Fisher at running back. They have a really solid offensive line led by Nico Vasquez and Drew Montgomery, Colin Schmeich, Dake. I mean, Schmeich himself is 6'5", 260 pounds. And I know they're an underdog, but I just feel at least they're one of the few teams in this area that can punch with Ganado size
in this classification. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, you got Refugio obviously can.
Oh yeah,
right. But yeah, you're right. That might be one of the game. That's the game of the week in the region. Right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. How about Sanford Fritch? 3-2 versus 4-1 Panhandle. Look, just like last week, this week there's not a lot of just great games.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of reach some. But Panhandle's 4-1, Fritch 3-2. Panhandle's only loss was Dalhart 42-35. But Panhandle has Broxton Robinson, a quarterback. We know how good he is. Give me Panhandle in this one.
Yeah, give me Panhandle unless Stanford decides to hand off to Rocky Ferguson 70 times. And even then, I don't know if this will work. Brandon Bennett, the head coach there, in a little bit of a rebuild. This is a team that went 1-9 last. Well, I say 1-9 last year. This has been them for the last few years: 3-7, 2-9, 1-6, 3-7, 1-9, 0-9, and 1-9. So going back to what we talked about Como Picton last week, them just getting 3 wins in the season,
right,
is a hell of a start for the Eagles, and we like to acknowledge those sometimes, but it will get ugly this week.
Yeah, I think it will be too. All right, Wascom versus Beckville. Beckville's 3-3. Wascom only 1 loss on the year, and that was the one we saw week 1 in Garrison, where they dropped a. It was a real good game. They kind of got away from them, towards the end. But Wascom's running back Montez Thompson and quarterback Chris Hernandez, really, really darn good offensively. Beckville's Braxton Bullock's pretty good. It's got a really good receiver in Gabe Johnson. The Beckville defense is pretty solid, though.
Yeah,
right. But I like Wascom all the way in this.
I don't think
this is not the same Beckville team.
No.
As 2-3 years ago.
And this isn't going to be as bad as what we were just talking about, but I don't think it'll be too far off. I think Wascom will be able to name their score. This is, again, one of those placeholder. We want to remind people about Wascom, because I know a lot of people immediately dismissed them after the Garrison, and we were there. That game was way closer than 39-19.
Right.
And you could make the case that for a lot of the first half, Wascom controlled that. They just penalties, and they just couldn't put the ball in the end zone when they needed to.
Yeah, they didn't have the killer instinct against Garrison. Garrison did have the killer instinct, and the Wascom defense had a tough time stopping that Garrison running game in the second half. All right, here's some quick hitters here. Groover versus Stratford. Give me Groover.
Hey, this is, again, one of those sneaky games. A lot of people have slept on Stratford because they're 3-2, but, I mean, they've lost to Childress and to Panhandle.
Perhaps you don't know the definition of quick hitter. That's all right, though. Keep going. I like you adding to it.
All right.
No, keep going.
I'm sorry, Groover. I forgot Grant emailed me and said don't talk about. No, I just wanted to bring up the Greyhound. I wanted to bring up the Greyhound.
Have you heard their fight song?
I was about to get. It really was like remember the Titans? They come on the field.
The old drinks tonight are hitting harder than your stepdad.
I don't even have a stepdad.
Oh, who was that hitting you then?
I set this up to give you a compliment about how you in the Big Osh preview show was very high on Groover. Like you talked about
meteorite from Groover.
Yes, and you told us that too. You always tell us every year. And I know it's really
sorry. You know what? I won't share my personal interest with you.
Wow, you are hitting with the drinks early. All right, we'll go quick hitter then. Lovelady Overton.
Lovelady.
Give me Overton in a bounce back
win. That's an upset.
That'd be a little bit. I don't think it's that big of an upset.
Pretty big upset.
All right, Mildred versus Frankston. Give me the Indians of Frankston.
Yeah, give me Frankston indigenous people.
Holiday versus Anson. Give me the Tigers. I am a believer in them. They finally hit the top 10 after beating Albany 2 weeks ago, but this is going to be a tough game. Holly is 3-2, but Holly's a very, very good 3-2.
Very good 3-2. I like Anson in this one, and I think we're going to see how good Anson is this week. I think Anson pulls off a pretty impressive win. Give me Anson.
I got to see if it's on the sheet. I got to go there.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Like twice.
Apparently, apparently Love Lane Overton are doing 7-inning double hitters. All right. 2A. Now you know what happens sometimes.
Was that on the actual?
Yeah, it was on the somebody's like, we played them twice, Dad. All right, well that's good.
That's how good of a game it's going to be.
I want to remind everybody, if you have any questions,
pay twice, get one game.
There you go. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, you can email the show, Grant and Terry at s2s.com. Anything else?
Nope.
That is week 8 in the books. 2A. Hey, next week it'll start getting to be back to bigger shows again. We still got a couple more weeks of the buys, and we still got a couple 4-team districts, but it'll be longer as more of these district games get important. But hey, it doesn't matter, man. Peek down the road, and you can see the playoffs coming up very, very quick. Until next time, he's Grant. I'm Terry. This is Sideline to Sideline.